Welcome everyone. In the previous class, we have seen different functions of auxins, how it helps in initiating root growth, how it helps in promoting the fruit drop at maturity, and whereas it prevents the fruit drop or leaf drop when they are raw, when they are not totally formed in the early stages, how it helps in inducing parthenocarpy, how it is used as herbicide. So we have seen various functions of auxins. Now we'll move to the next growth regulating hormone or growth regulating substance, that is gibberellins. We can even call it as gibberellic acid. Gibberellins or gibberellic acid. Here this gibberellins or gibberellic acid, as the name itself is saying, it has the word acid. They are all acidic. The gibberellin is acidic in nature. The growth regulating hormone gibberellin is acidic in nature. So the gibberellins has been extracted from more than 100 different organisms, that is from fungi. It has been, the gibberellin hormone has been extracted from fungi. It has been extracted from different higher plants. From more than 100 organisms the gibberellins have been extracted. Okay, and here they are denoted, that extracted gibberellins from different organisms have been denoted as GA1, GA2, GA3, GA4, GA5 and so on. So more than 100 has been that is extracted from more than 100 different living or different organisms, that is from different plants, from animals, from fungi and all. Thus, out of this different forms of gibberellic acids, or out of the different gibberellins which have been extracted from different organisms, here GA3, gibberellic acid 3, it is the first discovered gibberellic acid. It is the first discovered gibberellic acid and extensively studied gibberellic acid. Out of all those different forms of gibberellic acid, GA3 research or studies was done more on gibberellic acid. So extensive study has been done on this one, and this GA3 is the first discovered gibberellic acid. Gibberellic acid, all that have been extracted from more than 100 living organisms. Here they are denoted as GA1, GA2, GA3, so on. Out of that, GA3 is the extensively studied and the first discovered gibberellic acid. Name itself is saying all of them are acidic. All of them are acidic. Now next is functions. How they are helping the plant, what effect they are having on the plant, how they are helping in the growth of the plant. The first and the foremost function of the gibberellin is it increases the length of the axis in grape stalk. It increases the length of the axis in the grape stalk. Apart from this, it helps in elongation of apple and improve the shapes of the fruit. Here it helps in elongation of the fruit. Gibberellins helps in the elongation of fruits like apples. Example of fruit in which the elongation, here the size will increase. When you spray gibberellins on the plants, or when we have in order to increase the length of the apple. If you want to increase the length of the apple, how we can increase? Here we can spray the gibberellic acid on the plant. When you spray the gibberellic acid on the plant, the gibberellic acid will help the plant to increase the size of the fruit. Earlier, the size of the fruit was this much. Now, when you apply the gibberellic acid, or when you give the gibberellic acid to the plant or spray it on the plant, instead of this size, here the size of the fruit will increase, as well as the shape will also be improved. Two things are happening. One is increase in the size, because when we go to the market, we want we pick bigger fruits. If that is, if a vendor is having, fruit vendor is having smaller fruits, smaller that is mangoes and bigger mangoes, or just that is smaller apples and bigger apples, which apples you will pick? Will be picking the bigger ones and the ones with good shape, with good color. So here now, that is, this gibberellin help the plant to increase the size, to increase the size of the apple. Elongation is nothing but increase. So increase in the size of the apple as well as the improvement in the shape of the apple is done by gibberellins. Apart from that, it helps in delaying senescence. Senescence means growing older. Senescence is nothing but growing older. Delay means it will that is delay aging. We can even say it delays aging. Instead of becoming old in 2 months, it will take 2.5 months. So it delays aging process, that is, it delays senescence. The gibberellins helps in delaying senescence, that is growing. Senescence is nothing but growing older. So when you spray gibberellic acid on the plants, the age of the plant will increase. For example, if the age is if it matures faster, if it ages faster, then it will be only for a shorter period on the plant. For example, if a fruit is there, if it matures earlier, then what happens? It will be only for a shorter period on the plant. We have to remove it because it has been matured. So it started ripening, and afterwards it will fall down. So here what happens is, that is, instead of falling that ripened fruit, instead of that is fruit being ripened, that is in 2 months, it will take 2.5 months to ripen. For example, I am saying instead of 2 months, it will take 2.5 months to ripen for ripening of the fruit. So that is called as what? Delaying in senescence. We can even say it as it delays aging in the plants. Gibberellins helps in delay in aging of the plants or fruits or flowers. So when you spray gibberellins now, flowers, when it grows, it will be on the plant for that is 1 day or 2 day or 4 day, maximum 10 days, then it will fall. So when you spray with this when you spray with the gibberellins now, it will be on the plant for a little bit longer. Next is, it extends market period. When it ripens earlier now, along with everyone, so what happens? It has to be taken out from the plant, it has to be picked from the plant earlier, and it has to be sent into the market, because if we have taken picked the fruit from the plant, taken it out from the plant, then you have to sell it, otherwise it will get spoiled. So when the fruit is on the plant for a longer period, so here what happens is, the farmer can use it, that it increases the shelf life. When you spray the gibberellins now, it increases the shelf life. So the fruit will be on the plant for a longer time. When it is on the plant for a longer time, it will be in the market for a longer time. Next is, it speeds up the malting process in brewing industry, in making beer, alcohol, and alcohol. So in this now, it will be speeding up the malting process. Malting process is carried out in the brewing industry for making of wines and alcohol, beer, wine, alcohol. So it speeds up that process of making, making alcohol and all. Next, it increases length of the stem. It increases the length of the stem. Example, in sugarcane. Sugarcane, here when you spray this gibberellin on the sugarcane, what happens is, for example, earlier sugarcane was of this size, this is this. So when you spray gibberellin on this one, what happens? It increases the internodal length. So it increases. this size, then again it will increase in this size, then it will increase in this. So it increases in the size, it increases in size when you spray this gibberellins. So it increases the length of the stem. Sugarcane, what we see is the stem itself. So when you spray it on the stem of the sugarcane which it stores carbohydrate, it stores carbohydrate. Sugarcane have sugars which are nothing but carbohydrates. So here when you spray this gibberellin on the sugarcanes, the internodal length will increase, and because of that the length of the stem will also increase. When the length of the stem increases, naturally the productivity will also increase, the yield will also increase. With the increase in size, the yield will also increases. Then here in conifers it hastens maturity. Hastens means it promotes early maturity. It promotes here juvenile. When we that is when the seeds germinate. When the seeds germinate, here it will take, after the germination of the seed till flowering, it will take a lot time. After germination, roots will be formed, stem will be formed, the leaves will form, the plants will increase in size. Then afterwards, and after all those things happen, then the flowering will start. As soon as the seeds germinate, we won't get the flowers. First, after the germination of the seeds enters in juvenile phase, that is vegetative phase. It starts formation of all the different parts. It starts root formation, stem formation, leaves formation, branches are formed. After everything is formed, that is after the finishing of juvenile phase or the vegetative phase, then comes the reproductive phase or the flowering phase. So here what happens is, when you spray this gibberellin on conifers, what happens is, the juvenile periods will become shorter and the plants will mature faster. Mature faster means flowering will be earlier. So instead of juvenile phase for 2 months, it will be only, for example, conifers. It has a juvenile phase of 2 months. After 2 months, it will start producing flowers. After 2 months, it will start producing flowers in normal cases. But if you spray gibberellin on this, conifers, so what happens? Instead of flowers coming after 2 months, it will come in 1 month only, or 1.5 months, whatever. So it will increase the maturity. When it increases that is maturity period, maturity will be earlier, not increases. It matures earlier. When you spray the gibberellins on the conifers, the flowering of the plants will be earlier than it was supposed to be. So when the flowering is earlier, then the seed production will be earlier. When the seed production is earlier, then we can, as soon as you get the seed, then we can grow new plants again. So it helps in hastening maturity, that is early maturity of the conifers. When you spray gibberellins on the conifers, it helps in early maturity. It helps in early maturity, that is early production of flowers. Instead of 2 months, it will only flower in a month or in 1.5 month period of time itself. It reduces the juvenile phase and brings the flowering phase earlier. When you spray gibberellins on conifers, it reduces the juvenile phase or the vegetative phase, and the maturity will be earlier. The flowering phase or the reproductive phase will be earlier than it was supposed to be. Then next function is, it promotes bolting. It promotes bolting. Bolting is nothing but increase in the length, internodal length, just before flowering. When the plant is before flowering, as before the production of the flowers, what happens is, here when you spray this gibberellins on it, the length of the stem will be increased. the length of the stem will be increased. So here bolting is nothing but internodal elongation, that is elongation of stem prior to flowering. Just before the flowering starts, the length and internodal length will be increased. This will be seen in the plants with rosette habit, cabbage. In cabbage now, here internodal length will be increased just before the flowering. When the internodal length is increased, that process is called as bolting. So in order to, for bolting process, when you spray this gibberellin on the plants, here bolting will start, and here the internodal length of the cabbage which is of rosette habit, it will increase. So gibberellins are found in have been extracted from more than 100 organisms. Gibberellins can be denoted as GA1, GA2, GA3, GA4 and so on. GA3 is the most extensively studied and the first discovered gibberellic acid. All the gibberellins are acidic in nature. They helps in increase in the length of the grape stalk, and it also helps in the elongation of fruits as well as improves the shape. It delays aging of the plants. When the aging is delayed, the fruits or the flowers will be on the plant for a more longer time. So that means here the market period will also increase, and here it speeds up malting process in the brewing industries. The gibberellin, that is the gibberellic acid, increases the speed of the process, production of the wine, the production of alcohol, it increases the speed there. Here when it is sprayed on the conifers, it reduces the juvenile or the vegetative phase and brings the flowering phase earlier. And apart from that, it also promotes bolting. It also promotes bolting in the rosette habit plants. It increases the internodal length. It also helps in the elongation of the stem. So basically what gibberellin is doing, it is increasing the internodal length. It is increasing the length of the plants. If you want the plant to increase in size, increase in length, or if you want the internodal lesions to be increased, then what we need to do is we need to spray gibberellin. So how plants are helping? How gibberellin is helping? By increasing in the length of the plants, by increasing the internodal length in the plants. Apart from this increase in internodal length, it also helps in delaying the process of aging. It also helps in malting process, speeding up malting process, and here it reduces the juvenile phase in conifers and brings out early flowering phase in conifers. Next class we will see cytokinins, how they will be affecting the growth of the plants.